Hello, everyone. This is our weekly Smarty broadcast. Every week we discuss new trends in search, AI, marketing, discovery of brands, reputation management. We have a lot of topics to discuss. We've been doing that for a year and we've never had any shortage of topics because of so many things are going on in our industry. Search engine optimization is definitely changing. It's shifting. It's prioritizing something that we've been talking about for quite a while, but now it's so essential that almost there is no findability without those. And one of those is search intent, something we've been talking about since day one in SEO, but it is also changing. It is more important than ever. So today, that's what we are going to discuss. Before that, a few introduction. I'm in Smarty. I have been in SEO for more than 20 years. I've seen it all. I've always been more about not just fundamental technical SEO, but I'm into branding, community managing, content marketing. All of those topics have always been on the intersection with fundamental SEO, but now it's almost the key to visibility as well. So I'm glad to have that experience. I'm the co-founder of Smarty Marketing. We are a boutique SEO agency that is based in New York. We provide Reddit marketing services, AI optimization services, however you call that. And we are helping businesses with lots of services that do that, including digital PR, content assets, brand marketing, all of that we are doing. Today with me and always is April, our social media director, and also a lot of other things she's doing. But SEO, which is great because right now SEO is not as isolated as it ever been, because it involves everything that were different strategies at some point, including outreach, PR, social media. All of that is important for findability now as well. So again, please join us every week, 1 p.m. EST. That's when we broadcast for 30 or less minutes. I guess today will be a little bit less because I have meeting after meeting, so I have hard stop at 1:30. And I will try to make it short and sweet, but very actionable. So please ask your questions if you have any. We broadcast to Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and you can ask your questions on any network that you're looking at us from, and we will be happy to provide you with some ideas and guidelines for any of your questions. So today we have a very, very interesting topic, something that is fundamental SEO, that is search intent, but it's very different with AI-driven answers that are now showing up in Google, but also those the same techniques are available on ChatGPT, Gemini, everywhere. It's the same strategy for search intent optimization, and I will explain how it is different these days. So we started as an SEO industry, we started with three main types of search intent. Search intent is what people want when they are searching, when they are typing their search query in Google or Bing search boxes. We had informational search intent, that is when people just want to know something, to find information about something. We have commercial, sometimes called transactional intent. That is when people are searching to buy something. That has always been the target of most companies. That is the best intent out there. And we have navigational, when people are asking questions or try to navigate to a certain website or asking questions about that brand. All of those are navigational. I call them branded search queries when there is a brand name included in the search query. Fundamentally, the optimization strategy for those three types of search intent has always been for informational query, answer questions, give information. For commercial queries, do not provide much information apart from what they want to buy. So if it's a product page, we do want some information on product specs, on sizing, on colors, all of that, but do not necessarily go beyond that, not to distract people, not to add any fluff content. You do not optimize a product page for informational queries, because that's not the intent of people searching. And for navigational search intent, we've been always looking at the whole set of search results. I've called that SERP management, so that people searching for a brand can not only get to that site. Of course, the goal is always that the official site is ranking #1 for navigational queries, but they also get all the good information about that site. So positive reviews, additional information, many milestones, news about the founders, whatever you call it. All of those are navigational SERP management results. So we want the whole page for navigational searches to look good. So fundamentally, that's all we did. Now with AI answers, it's a different tactic. Still search intent optimization. We still want to give people, fundamentally, it's the same. We still want to give people to what they came for. Whether they typed search queries or prompts, it doesn't matter. We want them to provide them with exactly what they need. That is why SEO traffic has always been the best traffic out there, because it's intent driven. People actually trying to solve their problems at that moment they were searching. So they are ready to act, to engage with the site. They remember the site that answered their questions in the best possible way. So that's brand visibility and brand awareness as well. No other traffic is as powerful, whether it's organic or paid social, email marketing. That is all interruptive strategies, because people are not necessarily thinking to buy anything, or they may have no questions they need answers for. When they scroll a feedback, the Facebook feed or Twitter or whatever, or even looking at their email inbox, they have other things to be there. They have other tasks there. When we try to sell something or to just be visible in those places, it's more like an interruption to their flow. SEO is the most powerful channel because it solves the problem any searcher has at that particular moment. ChatGPT, Gemini, AI mode follows the same route. People come there, they type prompts, they need answers or solutions at that very moment. So are very ready to act or engage with the brand. So that's what SEO and AI optimization, however you want to call it. It could be generative engine optimization, it could be answer engine optimization, however you call it. It's the same principle, and that's why that visibility channel is also very powerful. But search intent and AI intent optimization can be different. Users' behavior at that point is not changing much. They come with exactly same problem, whether it's search or AI platform. But how answers are generated are different. With search results, it's still in many ways keyword matching. So search engine, whether it's Google or Bing, will find the set of pages that mention that keyword in relevant context, and there it's good visibility for that keyword throughout the page. So it's still very much keyword driven, even if it's semantic search or a machine learning involved. The fundamental step for a search engine is to match keywords. Not exact match anymore. They treat many keywords that mean the same, like one keyword, so don't have to optimize your site for all kind of variations, but it's still keyword matching. With AI answers, and that's something I talked about a few times already. Please check ansmarty.com for the previous newsletters on this topic and subscribe as well. For AI platforms use fan out technique. They want to provide more than just the answer to the direct prompt. And I give example in my newsletter. By the way, I just published it. because I was so busy throughout the day. So in my newsletter, I give a very easy to understand example. But on LinkedIn, there were quite a few discussions, not about the overall strategy, but about that example. So shoes. When you want to buy running shoes, but you have flat feet, for example. That's the example I'm giving in my newsletter. In search engine, what do you type? You type best running shoes for flat feet. And all the results you see, I will mostly mention running shoes, flat feet. Now, when you type the same search query, you can say best, what are the best running shoes for flat feet, for example. ChatGPT goes into the whole research. I actually copy pasted its reasoning. It was like almost more than 1,500 words. That's the reasoning. And that reasoning that ChatGPT or any other AI platform is using has all kinds of fan out search queries and fan out research angles. When ChatGPT is looking at running shoes for flat feet, it also searching for best shoes for the stability, the right stability, men's and women's versions, latest options for 2025. There also it's looking for enough citation, enough information for each brand they find. They also look for all kinds of support. That's moderate support. There is something that you need daily, something you need for professional use if you run a lot. So it searches for a lot of other things. So when you think about the page, you almost need to provide all that information. Of course, you cannot do everything, but you can pick and choose what you can provide on that page. And that is also intent optimization, because people searching for something like that are most likely interested in all of that information. They need to know best shoes for that, running shoes for that, best running shoes for this. And in many cases, that is not going to be a product page that ChatGPT is going to find. They will find lots of very well-researched listicles. They will also look at Reddit for each of those brands or for each of those products. So they also try to find all this social proof, like what people are saying about each product. And all of that almost can be on your page targeting that query. And that is, again, going back to the difference between optimizing for answers versus optimizing for citations, for references. Kind of you need to have both. So you have the product page, which will likely not being used as the reference. Your product may make the list if you meet all the criteria, but the reference would be all those listicles, Reddit threads, everything that is talking about different options. So in most cases, if you are selling shoes for flat feet, you need both, and they need to be linked to one another. So the product page is optimized for the product name, and the article that lists all kinds or answers all kinds of those fan out queries is the optimization for all that information that is going to be pulled for the AI answer. So the intent search optimization for AI is much more comprehensive. You need to answer a lot more questions to be able to get into the AI answer. It's not just on-page optimization. Of course, it's also tracking Reddit, what those people are saying about your products, or anywhere else. It could be also Quora or those articles reviewing different options. You need to make sure that your product is positioned the way it is, that is right, that aligns with what it does. And you also need all kinds of supporting content that goes beyond that, beyond your product page. You need to describe how to choose those shoes. It doesn't have to be shoes. It's just an example, because on LinkedIn there was a long discussion how you do not even use search to buy shoes. You can go into the local store and I get it. That's how we usually buy shoes. Like, let's not get distracted. I think I picked the shoes for the example just because it's easy to understand. Of course, there will be different use cases for shopping at local stores or even using Google in some of those buying journeys. But the bottom line here is that the visibility in AI answers is more than just your traditional intent optimization. It goes beyond that. It's answering all other questions that people with flat feet who still want to run every day or once a week can answer, can be asking themselves when trying to choose the product. They may go to the local store once ChatGPT recommends them a few options for sure, but that's not the point. That is a quick overview of how intent optimization is key. Please subscribe in smarty.com and check out previous episodes because I do talk a lot more about fanning out, how those AI platforms are not just addressing the actual query or the actual prompt from the user, but how they find additional information. And that additional information is going to be different. There is no pattern. Like if you, and I think I gave that example previously, there is no template that you can reuse from query to query, from page to page, because it's going to be all contextually different. And one of my examples last time was when you optimize for vacation rentals in Miami Beach and you optimize for vacation rentals in Fort Myers, those are two different fan out queries, absolutely different. So for example, for Miami Beach, the most popular question is it ocean front or beachfront? Because there is a difference, which I didn't even know about. For Fort Myers vacation rentals, the most common questions people are asking is what is the status of the rebuilding of Fort Myers? What has been open after the storm there? So it's absolutely different set of questions depending on where people are going. Same with this search intent optimization strategy applied to AI. There is no one template you can reuse. There are no same popular questions or same popular fan out techniques that you can repurpose from page to page, which something we are used to. And as in SEO, we usually have a set of the same questions answered on every page just because it is easy to scale. For AI, it's going to be different from page to page, and you will also need more supporting content addressing many of those fan-out queries because it is not possible to list all of those answers on your product page. So with that, I'm ready for questions. Again, today is going to be a little bit shorter broadcast just because I'm very busy and I'm leaving for vacation today. That's my almost last meeting for today. I have a meeting after meeting. So I will have a few minutes to answer some questions. Oh, Adam is here.
Yeah,
Adam. Hi, Adam. Okay, let's. April was keeping an eye on those questions while
Adams.
Adams. What is the best way to identify which keywords are likely to drive on-site engagement beyond the general commercial informational intent? Or how do you reassure clients in the face of the great decoupling? Okay, Adam, I didn't expect much of you. Let's pretend I understand this whole question. Please ask follow-ups if I didn't answer in whole, in its entirely. So what is the best way to identify which keywords are likely to drive on-site engagement beyond the general commercial intent? I did quite a few articles previously about using AI for that. I personally use Gemini just because it's Google's. ChatGPT may be providing just as much information, but Gemini often provides eye-opening results, those that I would never even thought, but when I saw those fan-out queries it suggests, it's a lot of things. I always think, wow, those are actually great suggestions. Probably ChatGPT can do the same. With Gemini, I first asked it, does it know what fan out technique is? And it was very, very knowledgeable, and she knew exactly, I don't know, I'm pretty sure that's a she. She knew exactly what I was asking. Just because we understand each other, I assume that's a she. But that's your choice. I feel like ChatGPT is more he. I don't know why I think so. But Gemini is a she for me. She's a very good assistant, at least. So I asked her if she knows fan out technique, and she does know that. So my prompts for her are usually like that. This is my target keyword. Tell me fan out queries people can find useful if I cover them on that page. And for every main keyword, for every landing page that I'm either creating from scratch or I'm working on, she finds great questions. She's almost like doing all the deep research for current competitors, for what is currently there. And I did that for personal brands as well. So I'm just typing the name in Gemini and asking, come up with some questions people will be asking before hiring that man, what they will be wondering about. And she's finding all kinds of gaps in the bios, based on his or her experience. She finds great keywords and questions. So definitely, probably ChatGPT is as good. I'm just not using it much, but Gemini has been great to me. How do you reassure clients in the face of great decoupling? You will have to ask a follow-up question here, April. I'm sure we've had a lot of discussions about decoupling, but I'm not just sure. I need some more context, please. We'll address some more questions now, but I would love to have that conversation, Adam. Do we have any more questions? I know, April, you did have a few.
Not any more questions from the audience, but
okay, nice.
I have more questions myself. Well, this one I didn't send you, but it just was something that I came up with while I was listening. So, like the keyword optimization, like in the past, people would put all that text and keyword optimization on the product page. Is that still like the best practice when it comes to like AI and stuff?
Well, surprisingly, if you ask just about any expert in our industry, you will hear that it's not necessary anymore, and you need to write for humans and not machines. What I have found, and it's funny that I have Adam here because we also had that case as well with him, keyword matching and density still make a lot of difference. And AI platforms, most of them, at least the three ones that I'm dealing with on a daily basis, ChatGPT, Gemini, and Perplexity, I always run my searches there just to see what they come up with and what the answers look like. All of them seem to be very, very relying on keyword usage for the first step. Of course, they fan out after that, most of them do. But the initial references and the initial research has a lot to do, and I see those references as well. They seem to align with just basic fundamental keyword usage, so the title, headings, all of that. So I would still be paying a lot of attention to your core, to the main keyword you are using on your page, and try to use it as much as possible throughout the page when it makes sense. Of course, we don't want to be spammy. Of course, if that keyword is not sounding right, if it's like grammatically not correct, do not use it. Change it the way that it makes sense. But overall, even keyword density, we had that case when we diluted keyword density on a page and it started losing rankings in Google, even though every other expert would tell you that it doesn't matter anymore. In practice, I see a lot of correlation between being visible in organic search and optimizing for a keyword. And we know that being visible in organic search both Google and Bing help you to get into the answers, and most answers as well. There is still a lot of overlap between search results and AI answers, especially for the main keyword. When they do not talk about fanning out, because they do, like the second part of the answer in AI model, at least in AI overviews, usually provide more information, but the core answer, the main answer to the core query, to the core prompt, will be relying on keywords a lot. So I would still combine the strategy just SEO driven, so do use those keywords, but also on the same page or in the supporting page, try to come up with additional information, based on that searching journey that the user could be taking.
So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the
Right.
explanation
Yeah, April
a great
is a little
coupling now.
freezing. April, you're a little freezing out, but maybe that's just me. I'm not sure.
No,
So let's see. It looks like is what people are referring to impressions going up. Oh, while clicks are staying in the same and going down. Basically, the separation between impressions and clicks. Well, I don't know, like the other consultants' experience with that. Our clients have been getting used to seeing everything going down. For sure. They were more terrified with losing a lot of traffic over AI overviews, and even before that. So it's not, I don't get many questions on that, but the explanation is definitely easy. So the impressions go up because the same page is being listed in AI overview and in organic search. So it gets 2 impressions from just one search session. Sometimes we see the URL coming up even 3 times within one set of search results. We don't have all the answers there because I'm not sure. I read that document about how Search Council is counting impressions, but if you open people also ask result, sometimes our clients URL is there also, so there are 3 instances of one URL per SERPs, and that is 3 impressions. And clicks go down because many people read the AI overview and never click. So it's basically very easy to explain to clients, and that is the reality. I personally tell every client that it's going to be worse. Google is obviously very aggressive with getting people to use AI mode. AI mode drives even fewer clicks than AI overviews, because at least AI overviews you can scroll down to organic search. AI mode doesn't have organic search results at all. And as Google is driving more and more people to AI mode in different ways, they invite through pop-ups, they do all they can to drive people to use the AI mode. So I tell all my clients it is going to get even worse as AI mode is adopted more, as ChatGPT is adopted more for product recommendations, and people will just not use Google. We're not still there, but obviously that's going to happen at some point. So the decoupling, the more impressions and less clicks is not the biggest problem at this point. So I don't really get a lot of questions about that, but the explanation is usually very satisfying because, I mean, what can we do? That's what's happening to our industry. Let's start learning in the web where there are no or very few clicks before people buy anything. That's what I keep telling my clients, and that's probably the future. Fewer and fewer buying decisions will involve any clicks at all. Everyone is losing traffic across the board, and it is better to start thinking about that now, and intent optimization is great for that, because you are actually part of the answer. Whether you are clicked or not, you are there. Maybe people will go to a local store to buy after that recommendation from ChatGPT. Maybe they will find your brand name or your product page using the product name, and that will be branded search, which is growing across the board for that exact reason. But being the answer does not have to incorporate any clicking at all, and that is going to get even more adopted and more serious problem for e-commerce unless they start preparing now. With that, thank you so much. I'm jumping to my next meeting. Again, subscribe in smarty.com. Ask your questions in the comments anywhere on social. I usually look at those after those broadcasts are over. Thank you so much, and see you next week for the overall overview of how we are all going to live without clicks at all and what the solution is now. Thank you and have a great day. Thank you, April.
Thanks. Have a great vacation.
Oh, yes. Vacation. I'm ready for vacation.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.